Now on Tucson Business Radio X, Heather Wilpert from the Tucson Metro Chamber and her guests for The Business Of.
Welcome to The Business Of. We're streaming live from the Tucson Business Radio X studio inside the Stort Title Building on Broadway Boulevard in Tucson, Arizona. Today's topic is the business of skin. The thing about living in Tucson is we're so fortunate to have nearly 300 days of sun. That's why we all live here. We love it. We don't have to shovel sunshine, but that sun can wreak havoc on our skin, whether it ages us a little bit or even much more, downright dangerous. So today, my guests and I will talk about preventative measures, skincare, helpful products, and we know you'll learn a thing or two. Plus, both businesses have special offers just for today's listeners, so please stay tuned. I'll mention the promo code a couple of times throughout the show. So now I'm excited to introduce my special guests for today who represent different aspects of today's topic. Candace Mason is the founder of Desert Camo Apparel, which is UPF 50 clothing that she created after being diagnosed with stage 3 melanoma. Hello, Candace.
Hello.
And we also have today Alyssa Callier, owner of Incandescent Skin, who offers a wide range of skincare services. Hello, Alyssa.
Hello.
Thank you both for being here. Not only are you both Tucson Metro Chamber members, but I love that you both have this mission, not only to promote your businesses, which is what you should be doing, but your mission is to help others. Mm-hmm. And I just think that's brilliant. I think you both also have a really good handle on your social media. I follow you both, and I just feel like you have a good flow of the amount and the types of things that you promote. So I just wish that all small businesses out there could learn a thing or two from both of you, because you're all doing the right thing. So let's get started by having each of you tell a little bit about your companies. So that way we can also help put a voice to the name as we speak. Candace, do you want to go ahead and start?
Sure. I started Desert Camo Apparel after I was diagnosed with stage 3 melanoma in 2017. I wanted to turn my negative into a positive and promote sun safety, skin cancer awareness, and prevention. I grew up here my whole life. Mm-hmm. I only wore sunscreen when we went to Roosevelt Lake. But, you're supposed to put it on every 2 hours. And,
right.
Just if you wear clothes, it's a lot easier. It's chemical free.
Mm-hmm.
So I wanted to create something to do all of that and have fun at the same time, give my anxiety brain something to do besides worrying about life, death,
right.
and cancer.
Well, that's a very good avenue you took, and we'll talk more about that later, because I love your product so much. Alyssa, tell us a little bit about you.
Well, I have started Incandescent Skin back in 2015.
Mm-hmm.
I've been an esthetician for 7 years, and I just had the desire to start a business of my own that I could hand select the skincare products
mm-hmm.
that I use, as well as take the extra time to educate my clients.
Right.
So it's been an amazing journey.
Mm-hmm. 5 years in already.
I am 5 years in already. And I do mainly skincare,
mm-hmm.
Skin revision, and sugaring hair removal. Those are kind of my little...
Okay. Is there one that's a little bit more popular than the other that people seem to maybe be more repeat customers for?
It just depends on what my clients are wanting to do.
Mm-hmm.
If they're just wanting like a monthly maintenance, exfoliate their skin and get a little extra pampering, I've got some customized facials and dermaplaning that's really, really popular. For those that are looking to really make a difference in their skin and revise maybe some sun damage or aging, they'll go with the DMK enzyme treatments,
mm-hmm.
which I can go in more depth
Sure.
benefit if you'd like.
Yeah, we'll get back to that in just a little bit. So, Candace, I am the owner of a pair of your leggings. Tell everyone exactly about the styles of your leggings, your the neck scarves, the arm, everything, and the design of them.
So, on my journey to find, sun-safe clothing, things that I can wear in the water so that I can enjoy time with my family when we're at the resort or what have you. I was like, well, let me look into this UPF 50 plus clothing. It's like a multi-million-dollar, industry, right. And I want a little piece of that pie. But what sets me apart is I want to celebrate all things Arizona. When you go to look at this apparel, it's it's inspired by water or things like that, but there's really nothing that has an actual cactus on it.
Right.
So I have saguaro print, cholla, prickly pear, and I don't know, I just want to celebrate where I come from.
Right. Yeah, I do guided hikes for my side hustle, and I'm surprised people haven't said, "Oh, I heard about you through this hike," because I'm constantly plugging you. And I have the cholla leggings, and I wear those a lot. And so people always say, "Can I take your picture next to this cholla?" I'm like, well, then you won't be able to see me.
See, those are my favorite because unless you're from here, you don't appreciate the cholla cactus. I've learned that.
The badasses of the desert. Yeah, I know. They're so mean. And they're like, do they really jump? Well, yeah, kind of they do.
Yeah, they stick. And they're hard to get out.
They are hard to get out. So tell me the difference with UPF and SPF. I would think our listeners definitely are familiar with SPF.
So SPF is for sunscreen for chemicals. UPF is for textiles.
Gotcha. Okay.
So our fabric has been independently tested, and it's certified UPF 50 plus, which means it blocks 98% of the sun's UV rays. And we're also approved and endorsed by the Melanoma International Foundation.
Wow,
I love that.
So,
I know.
Yeah.
And so how do you get that? How does the Melanoma Foundation say yes, approved?
You send them your test results, and you pay for the licensing use or what have you.
Right.
So,
right.
Yeah, and so I'm a baby business, and my goal is to do the Skin Cancer Foundation, but they want $10,000 a year.
My goodness.
Yeah. So right now,
steep.
it's Melanoma International Foundation. But you can go to their website. They have lots of information about skin cancer and such. So.
Right. So if you don't mind talking a little bit more about your melanoma, what was the very first sign where you thought, something's not right here?
I had a freckle that popped up in college many years ago.
Right.
And then just over the last 10 to 15 years, because I really don't know when it popped up, but I know it was in college. It just morphed and transformed.
Oh.
And it got to a point where strangers were like, "Oh, that you got everything going for you, but that thing on your face." And I was like, "What?" So I went and I had it removed and biopsied, and it came back.
Oh my goodness.
Melanoma.
Yeah. And what's so interesting too is I find that, people in my own life where maybe growing up, they always tanned really easily, brunette, brown eyes, yet now they're having little bits of skin cancer removed from their body. And so growing up, I thought, that's just for people with fair skin. That is not the case at all.
No, nobody's immune.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. And I love your little slogan that cancer's a prick.
Thank you. Sometimes I'm like, can I say that?
Well,
is it
it's
okay?
related to cactus.
Exactly.
Totally.
See,
to be clear.
How you look at it.
Yeah, I think cancer's a bully. So it just picks on the nicest people for no reason at all. So it just bothers me.
Totally.
Yeah. So Alyssa, I'm actually one of your clients too. I'm just a lucky person, basically. I do try to support the chamber whenever possible.
Yeah.
And so I have had facials from you before, and I love them. I've had many facials from many different people, but there's something about you want that perfect balance between someone who talks but not too much, and someone who, or at least that's what I want. Someone who has a nice touch but not too hard, not too light. So, and so I find that you're just sort of that middle perfect middle road. And also you're just very knowledgeable. So not only are you saying, or not only are you, say, putting an exfoliation on my face, you're saying, I'm doing this because this will do this and this will do that. And this contains this and this contains that. And so I feel like I'm getting an education when I go to you. So tell me more about.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
So I think that I try to take the time with each client and talk about what they're on, what they're doing for their skin. What are their behaviors? What are their types of nutrition might impact their skin? Mm-hmm. And really try to figure out like the best customized facial products to use because there's not a one product works for all.
Sure, right.
And the sun is a huge culprit in Tucson. And just getting people to understand that they need to continue our work that we do in the spa outside through home care products, through SPF, wearing hats.
Creating good habits.
Yes. And I think one thing that's interesting, I don't know that people know, is that when you apply sunscreen, you're supposed to reapply it every 80 minutes. And I think,
Right. That's where the damage happens. Or even just some random spots like the part in the top of your head if you're not wearing a hat. And then all of a sudden, 2 weeks later when it peels, you have these huge chunks of dandruff that come out of it. So that's great. And I know that since you've been doing this for 5 years, you've actually had many different professions along the way. And I love it when people's career paths aren't necessarily linear. Where they start doing this and then they find a different avenue and go this way. So I like that you've done that. If someone, say, in high school, now they even have JTED with cosmetology, which is an outstanding program. But say someone, whether they are fresh from high school or someone in their 30s or 40s, wants to become an esthetician. Tell me about what is out there as far as even within Tucson, or how many hours does it take to get that licensing? Tell me a little bit more about that process.
So there are a lot of great programs in Tucson, everywhere. You have to look at what the Arizona State Board of Cosmetology, or your Board of Cosmetology if you're out of state, requires. The Arizona State requires 600 hours for estheticians.
Okay.
So that just depends on a person's ability to, go part-time, go to school full-time. There's some natural skincare schools. There's, I guess, regular skincare schools that you can go to. I went to Pure Aesthetics here in Tucson. Oh, sure. It was great. And they focus on an all-natural, organic skincare foundation. So,
and how long has that school been around? I feel like that's been in town for quite a while, right?
I think so too. I do not know.
Yeah, but I know that owner, and she
10 years
has a great practice, and her products are outstanding too. So that's interesting. And speaking back to you, Candace, I'll watch Shark Tank with my daughters, and I think if I would have just followed through with one of my brilliant ideas, I'd be a multi-billionaire now. But so how did you go from, it would be so cool to have UPF leggings that look like cacti, to actually getting them produced and getting them marketed? I mean, you don't have to give us every little detail, but what would you recommend to, say, someone who wants to create an idea that they have?
Hard work. I'm a mom, so I'm always shopping around for a good deal. So it's finding, the manufacturer that will make them and, at a reasonable price.
And did they do the design for you, or did you say, leggings, or because I like your leggings because they have
I started with leggings because, who doesn't love leggings? And, I'm trying to start a new trend when I'm out in public, at the, public pool, cover up. But,
that's good.
I forgot where I was going.
Well, you figure back in the olden days, those bathing suits would go past your knees, so maybe we should have never swayed from that.
Yeah, so all the artwork is mine. I've had to learn a lot of Photoshop and Lightroom, and so all the the pictures are from my backyard, like the prints are from my backyard. Yeah. And so I just find a company, I tell them what I want, and I'm slowly expanding to UV accessories and shirts, and I have all these other goals in mind. So basically I was faced with cancer and I had to move up my bucket list. I'm like, why not start a business? It's a lot of work.
Yeah, I bet it's a lot of work. But how rewarding, though. Just
it
the
is.
Fact, and setting such a great example for your children, too, saying, hey, Mom created her own business. And so now I'm actually stage 4 melanoma. I had a double craniotomy. Tell me what that is. I'm not sure what that is.
I had 2 tumors removed off my brain in November.
Oh, my goodness.
And so now my boys do not fight me when I tell them, let's put on sunscreen or you will be like me.
Oh, gosh.
But yeah, every 80 minutes to they put it on before school, and I'm just like, oh, but that time during the day. Mm-hmm. So
yeah, and it's interesting because even on a health end of things, people think, oh, I don't need vitamin D because I live in Tucson and it's always sunny. But truly, say you're walking your dog in the morning and the evening, if your shadow is longer than the height of your body, then the sun isn't direct enough to give you the proper vitamin D, and it's not even on a large body, like your belly or your back. It's just on maybe some hands or arms. And so it's just one of those things where people have these misconceptions about, So really the time when you would get the most vitamin D is exactly when you don't want to be in the sun. So take some supplements, people.
Right? Yeah.
I'm not a doctor. That's just a suggestion.
I've also been told to get some vitamin D by going out for 30 minutes. And it's tricky because
it is DNA damage happens within the first 5 minutes. So, 5 to 15 minutes is,
Yeah, I really don't have very many regrets in life. I've certainly done my share of stupid things. But the one thing that I really regret is back in junior high school when we would get up on my friend's roof and we would put tinfoil on the cardboard and bathe ourselves with baby oil. And here I'd have these Italian friends and Greek friends, and here little old me, blonde hair, blue eyes, and I'd be trying to catch up to their tan. And I totally regret that because now I'm covered with freckles, and I'm sure down the road I'll have to deal with something. But it's a shame that in hindsight, how much smarter we would have been. So now with my kids too, same thing. Wear hats, wear sunscreens, wear long sleeves. So
the same thing. I have the same story. I remember going into a friend's house in junior high school, and getting the tinfoil out.
Yes.
And the coconut oil smelling.
But burning.
Banana boat.
But I feel like I learned pretty quickly because it was 2 or 3 times of burning. And I said, that was, one thing I attribute. My mother was just embrace whatever color your skin is.
My mom was like, let's put lemon juice in your hair. And yeah,
exactly. Let's see. So what do you love doing most about your job now, Alyssa?
Oh my gosh, I love everything. So DMK is the newest skin revision product line that I have in my spa, and I've been doing this for a couple of years. I am now paramedically trained, which is kind of a connection between cosmetic and medical field. While I say that, I'm not a doctor, so and I love just coming up with a customized plan for someone to revise their hyperpigmentation. That might involve some strong resurfacing procedures or some light DMK enzyme treatments and basically DMK enzymes mimic the body's biochemistry. So it is this mask that I apply to the skin and leave on for about 40 minutes. Now, people automatically think, facial, nice and spa, relax. This isn't exactly, it's relaxing for sure.
But
because
it stings a little.
I actually, do a little massage to the scalp and the hands, but it tightens up. and we leave it on for about 35, 40 minutes. And basically it helps to activate the cells that it does this thing called reverse osmosis, and it clears out the debris from the skin. And just like if you think of your body like a factory,
Sure.
it just helps to get the factory operating optimally.
Right.
And clear out all of that debris through these dilated capillaries, and just stimulates the collagen, stimulates the elastin, and gets the skin bouncy and healthy again.
Is that the one that you refer to as the zombie facial, or is that different?
That's correct.
Oh, okay.
The zombie facial,
So I
the
had
grandma
that, right?
yeah, you did. The grandma facial, the Game of Thrones facial. I don't think that's as much referred anymore now that Game of Thrones is done, but those are the three that, it's a lot of fun. And if you do check out my social media, you'll see some visuals there.
Yeah, exactly. And tell us a little bit more about, since I mentioned earlier, both of you are really good about your social media. Is that how you market yourselves the most, or what else do you do just to get the name out? Just so you could make recommendations for other small businesses.
Well, I think that one of the best things I've done this year is join the Tucson Metro Chamber of Commerce. They've been great with all of their events.
I swear I'm not giving her money.
She is not, I swear. But just putting myself out there, I knew that that's kind of what the piece I've been missing for a while. And so this gives me opportunity to meet up with people, meet new people, see people again that I've met from the last and just talk about our business, and then also have that social aspect too.
And then I saw that you have teamed up with Platinum Fitness, who also is a member of ours, where you show up. I think you've done it once or twice already.
Yes.
And tell us about how that came to be and what you do.
So Platinum Fitness, there's a Platinum Fitness over on Golf Links in Harrison, which is really close to where I live. And I just had reached out to them and said, hey, I don't know how, but I would love to just partner up with you. And I met them through one of the events through Tucson Metro Chamber, and they were so awesome. And they invited me down to come set up a table, totally supportive. They promoted me, and in turn, I promote them.
Sure.
I've created a business partner page on my website.
That's such a good idea.
Yeah, like they gave me a 30-day free trial that I have on there. People can just go download that and take it in and be like...
That's great. I love that. Because you figure someone who cares enough to be healthy physically, to be working out or whatever, they're generally speaking perhaps the same person who would want to be taking care of their skin as well, which is just yet another organ. So I think that's a really cool matchup. I think that's a great idea. And I know I've seen you at some of our chamber exchanges and things like that.
Yeah, I love that Mike Doucette guy. He's so fun. Yeah. And I've been trying to partner with him too. And I was going to at the beginning of the year, but then, brain surgery happened. So right now
you have such a great attitude. I love you. You're great.
I would rather have brain surgery than children. Like it was like being in the hospital.
Oh, very relaxing.
Yeah, because you don't have to take care of a newborn, and that was like the last time I was in a hospital.
Oh, that's too funny.
Taking care. Like I just want to lay here and do nothing. So.
Wow. And what other things have you done in your past?
So I was going out doing, vendor shows here and there, and not really physically able at the moment, so I'm just relying on my social media and
Right. Have you ever done the sort of thing where you send a pair to Ellen DeGeneres, or you do that sort of thing?
That's in my mind, but I am I'm trying to find that right social media star. I don't even know what I'm doing, but somebody who has a lot of followers, and I tried to reach out to some dermatologist in California or something, but she didn't get back to me.
That's interesting that you say that, just because I reached out to probably 5 dermatologists to be on the show with us today because I wanted that medical point of view as well. That's what I like about my shows, is it's one theme but different perspectives, all about the same thing. So I really wanted, and either people didn't return my call, or so anyway, that was a little disappointing.
Yeah.
Anyway, so but earlier when I first started the show, we were talking about how you both have been so generous to offer a special promo code. So if either someone goes on to incandescentskin.com to get one of Alyssa's services, she will actually offer a 20% off any treatment when someone books online for the month of February. And the promo code is Tucson Metro, altogether Tucson Metro. And then also, Candace, if you go to Desert Camo Apparel, that's all together, desertcamoapparel.com, she's made the generous offer of 10% off your entire order for the month of February. So definitely use Tucson Metro on either of their websites. And I'll repeat that again at the end of the show. But I just wanted to make sure I plug that at least once because I think this will be a really interesting experiment.
Exciting, yeah.
So how many of our podcast listeners are going to
I'll be
advantage?
Yeah, your website.
Exactly. I think I should get another pair. And, you know, I drive a convertible part-time, and I made my own just cut off sleeves from a shirt.
I have some of those.
I know. So I went on your website and I thought I need to get some of those.
I'm working on long sleeve shirts. I have 3/4 ones, but
well, what I like about the sleeves is I can be in my short sleeve shirt, but just while I'm driving, put the sleeve on. So I'm not hot in a jacket, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
So I like the idea of the sleeves a lot. So what else do you have on the horizon potentially as far as new product ideas?
I have the UV gaiters. I have wide headbands. I just have to list them.
And the gaiters go on your neck?
But you can also use them, you know, to cover your face. You can make it a headband kind of thing. It's really versatile, and that's my, like, segue into the man world.
Yeah, that's a really good idea, actually.
I am thinking long term. I just thought I'd start with ladies because we like to shop.
We do like to shop. Well, let me just plug your leggings a bit more, just from my firsthand experience. I'm tall. I'm 5'9", I think. I don't know.
They are made for tall people.
And they are long, which I like, that they go all the way down to my ankle. And even when I have leggings that have the front pocket for your gym card or whatever, sometimes I can kind of rip the, you know, pocket wide enough to hold my phone, but your pocket is nice and big. It can hold a nice big phone.
Yeah,
so
that's kind of what I based it off of.
That. Yeah, so that was really smart. So thank you for making
You're welcome.
pocket for my phone. I appreciate that. Let's see, what else can we talk about here today? I do want to just remind everyone who maybe just is tuning in now that the Tucson Metro Chamber, The Business Of, is a once-a-month podcast. That's always the first Tuesday of every month, where we do different themes. I've had, the business of giving, where I had 3 different nonprofits. It just so happened to be on National Giving Day, which was a sheer coincidence. And then today
is World Cancer Day.
I know. When I saw that, I was like, how am I always in sync with these things? Isn't that wild?
I love that.
Yeah. So next month, I'm going to be doing the business of play, where I have 2 confirmed guests, which are Children's Museum Tucson and Pima County Parks and Rec. And I have a 3rd guest who I'm fairly certain will be on, but that isn't confirmed yet, so I'll just keep you in suspense about them. But that will be the first Tuesday in March, the 3rd, I believe it is.
Fantastic.
Yeah, so it's fun just to see how it evolves. I've done the business of travel. That was a fun one, too. Let's see. So tell us more about maybe some of the stats with melanoma. Or I know that, you know, in Tucson and Arizona, we probably have our own set of stats just because
we
in
have
such
a Skin Cancer Institute.
Right. And then
we have a dedicated melanoma team at Banner. That's where I go.
Okay.
So.
Okay. Yeah, and a friend of mine who had melanoma, when it first popped up on her, it was actually teeny tiny little flecks, like tiny little freckles that she said were so dark purple they almost were black, but when you really, really looked at them, they were purple. So what are some other little early signs?
There's 3 types of skin cancer: basal cell, squamous cell, and then melanoma, which is the deadliest.
Yeah.
1 in 5 Americans will face some type of skin cancer before they're 70. So
wow, that's a big number.
Yeah, and I knew, well, I also do cancer research, so like I know a lot about cancer, but you know, my business is, I feel like well, maybe just Arizona in general, Southern Arizona, whatever, that's where I'm going to start right now. But I think there needs to be a better job of, you know, promoting sun safety, because I think, you know, like when I am out there promoting my business or, you know, trying to sell my products, you know, I'm trying to preach about, you know, the dangers of sun, but not be too preachy at the same time. And so I feel like it's
such a fine line.
Yeah, like
you want to have people take you seriously enough. But
and it's like I'm like climbing, you know, up a mountain, and I'm not quite at the top yet.
Right.
So, you know, it's mostly like, oh, those are cool, that's cool, but you know, just trying to transition to sales sometimes is hard. But like I said, I'm new, I'm building a brand, and you know, people are probably like, oh, leggings, what's so special about those? Or, you know, that's what I started with. But
right.
So,
well, I like that part of it is that you're not just buying any old leggings. You're buying leggings that are better safety, and that supporting you because of what you've gone through too.
Well, and I feel
a local
like
small business as well.
Yeah, you know, and my product, you know, what I'm doing is very specific. So unless you've been in my shoes, like I get it, you don't understand, but I'm trying to make people understand.
Yeah,
I want them to understand.
That's good.
Candace, are any of your products in stores or only online?
I have downtown at Chic Boutique and Spa. I have some products there.
Okay.
Figured maybe people downtown, so they've done pretty well there, but I haven't got out much.
And as far as the people who've bought online, what is the farthest away purchase? As someone from Australia, for example, or something bought from you?
I think it was like Pennsylvania or something.
Oh, so East Coast.
Yeah.
That's a good start.
Yeah, so maybe there are people that
try to get
come from
international.
here. Yeah.
Yeah. So Alyssa, doing what you do, you probably have different avenues that you could have taken once you got your education in this, and you decided to go on your own. What are sort of the pros and cons if someone's listening, whether, you know, working for yourself versus, say, working at a spa with many different employees? What are the pros and cons of that?
So once I graduated, I did go work for another spa,
okay.
And it was a really great experience. I loved the manager. But it was nice because there was a paycheck. You know,
right.
I didn't have to worry about that stuff. But what I didn't like was that I had exactly 50 minutes to do a facial. I had 5 minutes to turn over my room,
right,
and then get started with the next guest. And I didn't have as much of a chance to build a relationship. You know, like you said, if some people want to chat, we can chat during a facial. Some people just want to relax, keep it quiet. So to really do that education, I found like I needed more time. So that's when I decided to go out on my own. And, you know, is it a pro? Is it a con? I mean, there's more of a overhead expenses. You know, you have to think about your product purchases, your retail, you know, getting a business license. Do I want to sell my products out of my salon? I have to get a special TPT tax license to do that.
Okay.
So it is costly, but also rewarding.
But you're in charge.
But I'm in charge, exactly. And I get to make, you know, my schedule, and I get to continue my education as needed. And I do try to do that at least twice a year to go to some sort of event, conference. I do read up on Dermoscope, Aesthetic Journal of the UK, and NASM Pro are the three that I can think of right now.
Just to stay up on all the
stay
new...
up to date. I am also a part of a ton of private aesthetic forums.
Okay.
So if there's the latest and greatest of something coming out, I'm going to see it.
Right.
And then I research it to death, and I talk to my colleagues and read and go take a class, or,
Right. That's the best thing to do.
Yeah.
Right. And then, so since you have dealt with so many people at this point, do you find a certain correlation between, say, if someone always seems to have a certain type of acne, for example, and then you find out they always eat cheese or something. I mean, do you see any kind of connection between what people tell you about their nutrition versus maybe some of the skin ailments you see? Is there a connection?
Definitely. Are people honest?
Right.
Not always. But your skin tells a story, and I can kind of see that. There are so many factors to, say, an acne outbreak, or breakout, rather. Nutrition. Dairy is a huge culprit.
Darn it.
My personal feeling is that it's, has a lot to do with the hormones that are, come through the milk. And it just wreaks havoc on the skin. So if I always say try to moderate or not eat as much milk products if you battle acne. A lot of times it just means cutting it out completely and moving to things like almond milk. Goat's cheese is a good alternative. There are some plant-based cheeses out there. I know we live in Tucson with the best tortillas ever, but all of that kind of stuff has to be curbed. Also, sugar is a huge culprit as well. It just causes inflammation. It's just also wreaks havoc on the body. It messes with the hormones. So those are the two that are huge problems for skin.
Right.
But
how many of your clients, I guess percentage-wise, are, say, repeat clients versus new clients, or do you have an idea of?
Oh, gosh.
Are there some where you've been seeing them for years?
Yeah, I definitely have a clientele that I've been seeing for 5 years.
And do you notice a difference with their skin
Yes.
compared to someone who just goes every once in a while?
Yes, absolutely. I mean, there are some people that have just been seeing me every 4 to 6 weeks for 5 years. There's definitely a huge improvement to their skin at this point. We talk about skin cancers. I always, if I see something on someone's skin, I talk to them about it and say, I am not a doctor. I cannot diagnose this, but this looks funny to me. This looks like it shouldn't be there. Let's be safe. Let's get you to a dermatologist and get that checked out. And I do find that with some of my more seasoned clients that maybe are, a little bit older, are dealing with a lot of those skin cancers. And when I ask them, kind of like, did you use SPF, back in the day? And they're like, there wasn't SPF back in the day.
It's the truth.
Like, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And then, it's always humbling when someone says, my doctor, wants me to do this treatment. What do you think? And, I get to help with that journey. And that's a huge...
Well, we're going to have to talk after because I'm coming off a steroid taper because I still had inflammation on my brain. My acne, I feel like I'm in high school all over again. And I have been eating like crap because it's the steroids. I want sugar. I want ice cream.
Right.
So it's covered up
I think
today,
you look
but
good.
Yeah.
It's called makeup, but thank you.
I think you look fantastic. I know it is so frustrating, getting on in years when you're starting to get more lines around your face, and then you get some acne too, and
swear
you just
I
think,
turned
this
30.
is not fair.
No.
One or the other or neither, but not both at this
I turned
age.
30 and my whole skincare regimen was not working anymore, and it's been years just trying to find now what works.
Well, here's the
better for
thing,
me.
is that our skin changes every 7 years. Yeah. So what has worked for years may come to an end. It may be time to switch it up.
And I've heard that even more frequently than that, as far as, say, you're using a product line every day for a year or even a few months. I've heard different things where you actually should switch it up every now and then. What's your opinion? I know you're a big fan of the line you carry, but what?
I'm not going to lie to you. I this week I've been doing something different to my skin, and I'm not loving my skin at all.
Oh.
So I do agree. It's good to take a break, or, it's okay to try a different brand to see, give your skin a break. But I'm loving I love my DMK.
Exactly. So, Candace, have you had people who've either met you or purchased your products where they really relate to you, like they've been through a
that's my favorite part.
Tell me about that.
I was diagnosed in 2017, and I just got my, made it to the 2-year mark at 2019 for, to be free NED, no evidence of disease.
Oh, okay.
And then it came back. But, when I'm out at these shows and stuff, like I've met somebody who had melanoma 20 years ago. So, it gives me hope, or, it's not even, that's why I like my slogan, because cancer is a prick. It's not just, melanoma. It's any kind of cancer, and it affects more than just the patient. It's the family. It's your work. It's like my brother has to drive me because I had a seizure from the radiation in December. Gosh. And I work in, at the cancer center. So like I can't go back until March until I can drive. So it's this whole thing, like having to rely on people.
Right.
That's not
well,
me.
Thank goodness you have good people to rely on. You're very fortunate.
Yeah.
I know you're going through a hard time, but it's still, you have to look at the parts that are good.
Yeah. So, and when I started this journey, I didn't really, I had Facebook, but, I went to Instagram because I didn't know anybody who was going through what I did, what I am. And so I met a lot of friends on Facebook, local people too, that have had, melanoma and stuff. So it helps to get through it.
Yeah, that's good. It's always good to have that support regardless of what it's about. Mm-hmm. Let's see. So what else? I should plug the promo code.
Yes.
Again. I'm really curious to see, of our podcast listeners, who is going to use Tucson Metro altogether, TUCSONMETRO, to get either the 10% discount over at desertcamoapparel.com or 20% off treatment when they book online at incandescentskin.com. Let's spell out incandescent skin, shall we? That's INCANDESCENTSKIN, incandescentskin.com. It's just for the month of February, though, so use that Tucson Metro code now so we can track how many people out there are going to benefit from either having a wonderful facial or getting some awesome products. And I truly wouldn't plug either of these companies if I didn't feel that they're both fantastic. So let's see, any closing remarks either one of you would like to say?
Well, I'd just like to say, like, if you're new to skincare and you haven't been on a regimen and you're looking to get started, one of the things I like to suggest is to start out with one product a month if you need to.
Right. What would be that number one starting point? Like a moisturizer, or? I
would start with a good cleanser.
Mm-hmm. Cleanser.
And then I wanted to just mention, like, between grocery store versus professional, like, I have some people say, affordability. What I'm finding is that a lot of people will get grocery store like cleansers and go through it faster, whereas a professional line is more concentrated and you need less, like literally a pea size of product.
And since it's more expensive, you use it more sparingly.
Right. You just use a little bit of time. Like a lot of my cleansers will last 2 to 3 months for people that use it that way, that I prescribe it. But I like to see people get started on at least a cleanser and a moisturizer, add in a toner. We're finding that like toners, we don't need them quite as much because a lot of the products balance the pH of your skin. and then add a serum, which is like vitamins, nutrients to your skin, and an exfoliant. It's important to exfoliate your skin once a month, or excuse me, 1 to 2 times a week is what I like to recommend to start. Just to get those dead skin cells off your skin. It just helps your skin look vibrant, radiant. So I know that a fair amount of my new clients generally come in to me without any kind of regimen at all. So put down the bar of soap, people. Don't do the all-in-one.
Although somehow my husband, who's 10 years older than I am, who's only used Irish Spring his entire life, has amazing skin. How is this fair?
Well, he shaves.
Yeah.
Does he?
Well, exfoliates.
Really.
He has a beard.
He has a beard.
Oh, that's right.
How about you, Candace? What would you like to say as far as just your shout out to anyone who's listening?
Get your yearly skin checked from a dermatologist. Avoid the sun between the hours of 10 and 4. Wear sunglasses, hat if you have to go out during that time. Yeah, just take care of your skin because it's the largest organ.
Yeah, that's amazing to think of it like that. I think it's one of those people don't.
You forget.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. You think of your heart pumping and your lungs, but then your skin is just your skin. But no, it's an entire organ, the largest organ. Okay, well, I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up if that's okay. I hope you all have enjoyed this episode of The Business of. All of us hope the information shared today helps inspire you to take care of your skin and not only to treat yourself to the pampering you deserve, but to do everything in your power to keep your skin healthy. And above all, we want to encourage you to live your life to the fullest and find moments of joy in each and every day. And I'd like to say thank you to my special guest, Candace Mason from Desert Camo Apparel, and Alyssa Callier from Incandescent Skin. We'll upload a photo from the Business of Skin to Tucson Metro Chamber website and to the Tucson Business Radio X website, so you can put a face to our names and read everyone's bio and get any contact information you may need. Remember to use the Tucson Metro, TUCSOMMETRO, to get 10% off your entire purchase with Desert Camo Apparel products, or book a skincare service with Incandescent Skin and receive 20% off any treatment when you use the promo code Tucson Metro. The offers are only good for the month of February. And please follow Tucson Metro Chamber on all of our social media channels and check out TucsonChamber.org for our upcoming events or membership information. I always love having our members as part of the Business of podcast. So if anyone's listening and has a great idea for a theme and you'd like to be involved, reach out to me, Heather. My name and contact information will be in the bios as well. Like I said, I'm Heather Wolpern, the Director of Communications at Tucson Metro Chamber. I look forward to sharing more about how Tucson Metro Chamber helps Tucson businesses thrive when I host the next The Business Of on Tuesday, March 3rd, when we talk about the business of play with guests from Children's Museum Tucson and Pima County Parks and Rec. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
The Business Of, an informative podcast with Heather Wilburn from the Tucson Metro Chamber, can be heard here continuously on TucsonBusinessRadioX.com.